Turkish culture and movement is Yusuf Firat. I'm happy to introduce Yusuf. He was born and raised in Turkey. He has a bachelor's degree in science and mathematics and a master's in education with an emphasis on math curriculum. He worked many years as a math teacher in secondary schools in Texas and Oklahoma. Currently, he is working as a software developer at Magellan Midstream Partners. He is married and has two children, Omer and Hazel. His lovely wife is Selver. His hobbies are spending time with his family and kids, playing chess, and playing a traditional Turkish instrument, which I will have him pronounce. So, reading technology articles and learning new things in general. After living 5 years in Austin, Texas, he's been happy to call Tulsa home for him and his family since 2017. Please welcome my friend, Yusuf.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Let me just click on. Okay. I was seeing some people are waiting. I didn't know that. All right. Okay. All right. And like Dorothy introduced me, my name is Yusuf, and I'm from Turkey. And I was born and raised in Gaziantep. I will go through some pictures and information in the slide. But before I go to my slide, I will just talk generally. And if you have any question with that, then I will try to answer. And maybe I can go through my slide quickly after that. Okay. And since 2012, I live in States, and I came to yeah. And everything camera is down here. Over. Okay. And since 2012, like I said, I've been living in States, and I came to Austin as a teacher, and I got my first job in Austin, Texas, as a teacher, math teacher, and uh, and then working at a school in Austin for 5 years, and then I moved to Tulsa for another teaching position here, and I worked there another 5 years, and then I said it's enough for being teacher. And I enjoyed teaching for more than actually 10 years in States. And after that, I said I need some new challenges. That's why I went into IT field. I'm right now working as a front-end developer, and just an app where working on that with my team. Yeah, before I start my slide again, somebody said you never seen this website. I like it. You can maybe already the website is crazy, and as long as you make your slides public, it's free. But if you want it private, it's some account, some premium account, yeah. And maybe you already know Turkey from some books, some movies, some news, like newspapers, and I will try to talk about the Turkey that I grow in, like the cities that I live, and firstly, maybe you don't know where the Turkey is on the world map. It's in a place where you have like Europe, Asia, and Africa surrounding, and that's why around this region always there are some issues are going on, because it's like kind of connection of three continents. That's why throughout the history you can see many big issues or wars, or many things are going on over there. And 37th largest nation. I didn't know this while I was trying to prepare. I learned it's 37th. And 783,000 square kilometers. Maybe this doesn't make sense how big it is. But if you imagine Texas map plus half of the Oklahoma, that's it. And guess what the population would be in that small land? Any guess? 83 million. Yeah. And I calculated, I said if density was the same with Turkish density, like population density with the US density, like US population would be more than maybe trillion, I don't know, like right now, yeah, trillion, I can say it, yeah. Yeah, sorry, not the trillion, sorry for my math, billion, more than a billion, yeah. And this is Turkish flag and anthem. I will play it. And the color and all the flags have some history and some meanings behind it. And also Turkish flag has very meaningful, it's not just red colors float around. The color of red represents the blood that the people died in the wars to protect the country. That's representing that, the color. And let me just make it bigger. Yeah, and I forgot this name. Crescent, right? Yeah, I know in Turkish in Hilal. And crescent represents, like there are some different explanations, but in some, this represents Islam, like the religion and the God, and this represents in some ideas they say like Turkish nation or some say prophet. Like you can read different like different versions, but the crescent mostly would be on all Islamic countries because it has the same meaning with Islam. Yeah. This is the anthem, and it was written during the World War One, and there was a competition going on, and there was a man came up with this poem, and they accepted to be a national anthem, and it has very also deep meaning. And back in time, maybe not like that in Turkey right now, people would memorize the anthem, like it's like pretty long, and maybe I can show you Turkish. It's not short. Maybe grammar. It's here. Yeah, it's like 10. It's 10 paragraphs. Yeah, like yeah, we can check maybe English. Yeah, you can check. It's the grammar. And in middle school, like this will be one of the assignments to memorize and recite in front of class. That was one of the assignments, yeah. Anyway, this was extra info. I don't want to spend too much on any slide because we have limited time. And this is the whole city I was born and raised in Gaziantep. Gazi means veteran. Because of the like things happening during the World War One, Central Army couldn't send any support to the city, and my hometown people came together and they fought against some other people. I think French was around there during World War One, If you are from France, don't be offended. I'm just giving some historical facts. Yeah, and that's why after World War One, because of their uh, good job with protecting the city, Turkish Republic gave this prefix, I can't say, or I don't know, they just added, it was just Antep, like Antep. They just put that in front, Gaziantep, like veteran city. It was the city, Gaziantep, like veteran Tulsa, kind of like. And my city has like on Turkish map, and it's like very southeast. I have I brought some like and let's see, yeah. I'm an ex-teacher, that's why I have those stuff. And this is like Syria, Iraq area, like Iran around here. Like my hometown is very on the southeast of Turkey. And most of this area, people are mostly Kurdish. I'm also Kurdish, and I'm a Kurdish citizen of Turkey. But I will give some extra politics information. Like in Turkey, they never accept, used to be like that, maybe things are maybe changing, but still I don't see any difference in the news. They don't accept the existence of Kurdish people in Turkey. That's a huge political issue in Turkey, if you check. And I never heard of, like, I finished my whole education in Turkey from K through 12. Only thing you hear about Kurdish people in the books, there's a bad group during World War I time. They were coming together, Kurdish. Only thing you hear about Kurdish people in the books of Turkish public schools, you hear just that part. That's why mostly Turkish people grow up with having some bad ideas about Kurdish people. that's that's interesting to me. Even my wife is listening right now, and she's not Kurdish. And sorry, she was not Kurdish. Even she was saying you can get married one day with anyone except Kurdish person. But I changed her mind. Yeah. Anyway, and this is the castle in the middle of like in the middle of Gaziantep. This is from Roman Empire time. It's like in Turkey, if you go anywhere, like anything you can see, like any city would have a couple thousand years old building or stuff around. That's why history meaning different there. And I hope you can maybe go visit Turkey. Like this thing, let's see. I think it was built around second and third centuries, maybe before it was using some other stuff. But during Justinianus' time, around 527, they made this shape, and it's still like that during Ottoman times and during other times. They kept the original thing in the place. They didn't destroy it. And still right now, this is a museum you can go and visit. Even like the secret places are being showed. Like back in time, they were using it maybe a jail or other stuff. It's a nice place in the middle of the city. And let's see. And maybe my slide is like not very good organized, but I will try to keep it simple and organized. Like I'm jumping from one place to another place. And Turkey was founded by Atatürk and in 1923 and after World War One. And he was born in 1881 and he died in 1938. And I don't know, you maybe heard of him. He has very good vision. He was a good politician, and he assemble whole nation together during the war, and like some leaders were giving up on the war, like during the war against all other armies. But he said, we don't have to do that. Like we can still fight for our country. That's why you can see his statue everywhere in Turkey. He's maybe he's the one of the person maybe has highest number of statues around, and in every single school in Turkey. It looks like that. Maybe like Erdogan government maybe changed it recently, and we used to have something in school, like in the entrance, in the building, like each classroom has to be with the pictures. And like I said, since a few years I'm not checking Turkish school stuff, and it was like that. Like he was very important. Still, he's very important, but this is a little extra politics. And most recent government hates him because his charisma is killing his charisma, like President Erdogan. That's why it's kind of like fight between his charisma and his charisma. That's why he's trying to remove his pictures in the school and remove his effects. Even one time, second time, like 1940s, 50s, they, like his pictures are all over the money, like the Turkish money bills. Like someone around 40s, 50s decided to put his picture on the bill, but people didn't want to have that because he has very powerful effect on Turkish history. And this is one of my favorite quotes from him. Maybe you heard of recently. Also, Elon Musk shared this on his on the day he died. I think it was November 11th. November 11th is a national, I don't know, holiday kind of, yeah, holiday. Yeah, Memorial Day, yeah, National Memorial Day. You like because of his day. Okay, this is one of my favorite quotes from him. If one day my words are against science, choose science, like not me. And okay, and okay, this was before Turkish Republic. It was Ottoman Empire. You know, this is the, if you can see at the bottom, this is the greatest extent, and this was the largest they went to, and after that it kept shrinking back because of the conditions. Second time, right now Turkey is just this part, and I think after World War One, they decided and drew this map during the meetings. They said like right before that, I guess like these parts even included, and during the war they just had a meeting again. They just gave it away, and this is my personal belief. Like if there was a strong country in that region, like I said, throughout the history, that region is always always messed up because too many things are going on, like in the Middle East, like in other sides, like Russian side. If there was a strong country there, it would be balanced, and maybe we wouldn't be talking about most of the issues that are going around and we're talking about. Anyway, this is like maybe not scientific perspective, but that's what I believe. Yeah. Anyway, Ottoman was up there for 6th century. That's a great time for a empire to run, like 6th century. And yeah, right now under this map, like a few countries, like I don't know how many countries in there, but right now, after Ottoman is gone from those red colored places, yeah. Anyway, I will just move on because I know we have timing. Dorothy will be mad at me. And population of Turkey, like I said earlier, 83 million. Like if you go to Turkey, you would, like my dad and my mom, they visited United States a few years ago and last year also. They were surprised there were no apartments like many floors, like 10 floors, because they live in an apartment with like 12 floors. That's a very normal. Like people live in a packed area, and that's like European style cities. And if you go to even like Germany, like maybe Giselle knows that, like cities are like very compact, like people live close to each other. I think the way U.S. Map, like U.S. cities are designed, um, like more spread and yes, space, and that makes traffic better most of the time, unless you live in some very big crowded cities. And yeah, that's like I said, if density of the population was the same, 30, like Turkish density and US. US will be more than a billion. I said trillion earlier, sorry. And the races, like mainly in Turkey, when it's like politics, like these two races are being affected or effective. Turkish people and Kurdish people, like I said, Turkish people are like officially they don't exist, but in every election, uh, politicians are offering some stuff to solve Kurdish issues. But officially, like you cannot, like until 2010, I can clearly say until 2010, you can do fact check later. Like it was forbidden to put any Kurdish name for your business. You cannot open any TV station because you don't exist. What is Kurdish? Like just it was mispronounced Turkish. Like some people were just claiming that there was just not nothing. Anyway, I'm gonna just move forward quickly a little bit. Okay, after this, many stuff. I will talk about cities. Like Bursa is one of the places like Colorado. You go for winter break time. Cappadocia is very famous. Maybe you would see this is middle central Turkish area. And Istanbul, if you want to, if you have just one shot chance, like if you want to go to Turkey with just one spot, just go to Istanbul. Because Istanbul has like tremendous history, beauty, even recently they are trying to kill the nature, but still it's keeping its beauty. And I would recommend if you are trying to go to one place, like Istanbul would be definitely a good start. And mainly whoever I meet around here, like whenever someone visited Turkey, they talk about Istanbul because it's a nice place. And Izmir, Ephesus is also very famous because uh, it's well known from Greece city, and people also visit this place. Izmir has also very good historical parks and places, but Istanbul is, I think, number one. Yeah. And Maiden Tower, I was gonna write the history of this. This has also some, let me see if I think I didn't put it there. And this was built, I think I need to just that's uh, that's in Istanbul, in this Asian side of the Istanbul. Uh, okay, Emperor heard the prophecy telling him that his beloved daughter would die at the age of 18 by a snake. Yeah, this was the story I knew, but I wasn't sure. Like he he was told his daughter will be dying to the snake. That's why he made this tower in the middle of water sea, like maybe 200 meters in, and but he decided to put his tower built on the rock. Was first isolated the land, but later during Ottoman time they used this for uh, tower for sorry for my word vocabulary. What do you call it? Yeah, lighthouse, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. I think like legend saying that he was the story is ending. Her daughter dies there with the snake, gone there in a ship, like small ship of fox. Like the story, like I think lesson we can get from there. If your destiny is written, you cannot pretty much change it. Like there's also confliction there. Like at some point you can change your destination, like destiny, and some point you cannot change. It's a different conversation. I'm not gonna go in there. And Çanakkale during the World War One, Çanakkale was very in the center because just by itself, around Çanakkale, more than 200,000 people died from Turkish military. Because people from like middle school up to whatever age, whoever can walk, do something, they were sending to even like ladies, like gentlemen, like no differences. And like if you want to help, you can help anyway. You can cook food, you can carry out the stuff. Like more than 200, like you can check, more than 200 people died in there. That's why this uh, this building there, memorial building, or you can maybe if you go to Turkey, if you have extra time, maybe you can go and check the history there. If you walk around with the guide, uh, tourist guide, like tourism guide, but they will explain point by point. This is the place where the let's say the army of other side. I don't remember the which armies and other sides from that side. That's why you can check and see some history, but this was one of the good things. And yeah, Troy. That's also in Çanakkale, and this has also a few stories. One is saying they're saying from the one movie. That's why there were a few story about this. They were saying in 2004 there was a movie made. I think it was a Troy movie, and like Çanakkale City requested to get it. That's why they placed it here. And but I don't think during the Çanakkale time, Turkish army didn't use this, but this was maybe back in time history. That's why it was representing that area. That's the reason. I put it there, but I didn't over there. Yeah. Antalya is one of the most popular tourism place in Turkey. We get like all European countries, Russian people come to Antalya. Like tourism center, Antalya. Keep in mind, if you want to go to summer vacation, the city will be nice. Thank you. Yeah. And Turkish foods, like there are different Turkish foods, but like mostly kebab and those kind of food would be like first thing coming into your mind. If you're coming to Turkish festivals at Raindrop, and you would see this kind of foods are going around all the time. And the Raindrop organizes two festivals during the year, like big festivals, and it will be with different kind of food, art, and different stuff. Like if you follow the page, maybe Dorothy can share later, and that would be something you can taste. Yeah, lokum means Turkish delight. I didn't bring this cake, but I have extra over there Turkish delight. You can check, and and this might be baklava or something similar to baklava. And this is probably sütlaç, like Turkish dessert. One thing my culture is good at, I guess, is food and eating, drinking. Like really, we have good options. Like after seeing like a few countries, and like we have coffee, Turkish coffee. It's like maybe different way. Maybe it's stronger. Some people think it's very stronger, and usually cups are very smaller. You understand why it's small after you drink. And, and ayran, some people think it's disgusting, but I love ayran as a drink because I saw some people grown up in US. They don't like ayran. It's like yogurt drink and with some yogurt. Yeah, you just put some extra water, some salt, you drink. After finishing college, long time later, I understood why yogurt drink is common in Turkish uh, culture because we eat spicy food. And when I learned uh, the feeling that gives you hot in your mouth is then chemicals can be solved in uh, like yogurt type of solution. That's why yogurt helps it's faster released and yeah, like my ancestors maybe didn't know that, but they did a good choice to make it to make it a common drink. And maybe somebody realized this works better. Let's drink this. And this is also very common. And maybe you think that guy looks like to me. Maybe his mustache. And, and probably this is from my city because this is very common in Southeast. Like you would see this type of people in the streets. Like imagine in downtown, like most crowded area or whatever in crowded area. Like people are walking with this and selling the cup of drinks. That drink is also very different. Right now, I forgot its English name, and but that has different taste. And but it has just like the plant, you just like brew it and then serve like it as cold. But sometimes the cool thing with this, and if you want to do something good during the summer, like I did that one time too. Like you just pay this guy, let's say $10. He would say whole things. I just say in dollar version, maybe right now in Turkish currency different. Like $20, maybe you give him, he would just hand it out to everyone. He would just call, this is an, like you would just say, you want to give some gift to random people, you just give it to him. He would just call people, hey, I have this free drink, take it. It's from him, or maybe sometimes they don't pronounce the name because it will be done. And it's a very good culture. This is very common. You would see free drinks during the summer a lot. And I like that culture. Okay, SARS, I'm going to talk about this. And how many minutes I have left? Okay, like SARS an instrument in Kurdish cultures in that part of the world. And these two guys I picked these pictures because they're the masters in Turkish SARS because they write and sing. And this guy never studied, and everybody was asking him how do you play. He just said, I don't know, I just play. And yeah, because he says it's a feeling. He just needs to get it, like because his dad was also a master with this SARS instrument, and he's also another person. He sings in Kurdish. Also, I want to talk about him. He was away from Turkey since 1970 because Kurdish issues are been there for a long time. He had to leave from Turkey in 1970s. And I know that he wasn't there for 30 plus years, but most recently, the like government tried to invite him so that they can show they're working on Kurdish issues. He came before that, but he realized that he might be still in trouble because government was going back and forth. So he's living in Europe, I think Germany. If you want to hear, I picked this guy because he's my one of the favorites. This does would sound like this. I don't know. I don't play like this professional, but I have some weaknesses like Becky, Dorothy. I play decent. Yeah, anyway. I don't want to take. 3-2-2. 3-2-2. And another instrument, and like Mevlana, I forgot to put in my slide. The city I studied in, Konya, Turkey, and that's where Rumi, maybe you know his name as Rumi, like in Turkish we call him Mevlana, and this instrument is from his school. Like the people from his school would play this and make it like they would dance, like whirling dervishes. Maybe you seen them. Like it's weird, but if you try, like if you time turning around like this, you would feel dizzy and you would fall off maybe. And but these guys, I was doing my college times. I would watch them for like 30 minutes, maybe 10 plus minutes. They would turn around. I think there's a technique. If you hold your head some certain direction, you will be parallel to the earth direction, something like that. You would go and go like 4 minutes. I'm almost done. I want to keep 2-3 minutes for my. This is the instrument house sounds. It's very hard. I tried to learn when I was in college, but I couldn't even make the sound. I said, never mind. And I worked on saws. Right now I play saws, but I tried to learn this since I was from that city for 5 years. I was there, but I couldn't. I said, I think this is not my thing. Yeah. Yeah, but this sounds very deep and like isn't just like cylinder wood. There's nothing specific. You just hold it like specific way to make the sound. Like I wouldn't even make the sound. That's why I gave up. Nay, N-E-Y. The other one was called Saz. This is called Nay, and yeah, you can. Maybe I can share this slide. I don't think too much information here, but if you can. Oh, I put it there. Sorry, it was in the slide. Like Konya is here. It was center of the empire before the Ottomans and like Selçuklu Empire. They were there maybe 1100 somewhere around there, and that's why Konya was center of that empire. And emperor invited Rumi from another country. I think it was from Tajikistan or somewhere around there. He's original from there, but back in time, I think the borders were not matter. He invited him as a scholar, and they gave him this place. It was his school, and this is still there in Konya. And every month, last Thursday, there was a very good event. It was public event. Like we watched them. It was a very deep meeting. Like I would maybe spend extra time with Rumi, and I hope you can check later. And like I want to put this first. Like don't think in like some people would think Turkey part of like Arab countries, like because some people are asking me, are you guys speaking Arabic in Turkey? No, we are just speaking Turkish, and even letters are Latin alphabet. Like Atatürk decided to change it. It's a big confliction also. Some people are saying, why the heck he did that? Or some people say, thankfully he did that. Like there are 50%, 50%. But you would see this is normal, like dressing, but during the maybe special times, maybe you would see this type of cultural dressing, but don't expect to see this kind of stuff every day. He said that, but it's not like that. He was lying. That's why I try to show firstly the street. This is one of my favorite Turkish art, marbling, water marbling. The specific solution, you put your oily thing on the top so that it can flow, and put your paper, and you would get the picture on. Like this will be presented in Turkish festival most of the time, but they didn't have it in the most recent one. And this is really a good special art, I guess. And like you would have a stick like this, and you put your color and then play around, make your, but you're making your picture on floating water thing. Yeah. Anyway, I think this is end of my slide, and sorry for overtime. I try to keep it short, but yeah, it takes time. If you have any question, I can try to answer. Sorry for my unorganized presentation, but I try my best. And now I can answer any question if you have. Yeah, thank you for asking. And because I couldn't fit into slides, I was trying to talk about that. But after college, I finished in 2010. I decided, like actually before 2010, I didn't see myself working in Turkey with economy or with the things going on in Turkey. I decided myself, I decided to work out of country, and uh, also I had a chance during the college, actually. Let me start with the college. I was staying with the friends in the dormitory at our houses from Gulen movement, and they all also give us like gave us some life perspective. I wouldn't think about going out of country because even my father on the flight day, he was still saying it would be better for you not to go, but anyway, you're going. That was like still his opinion. Even like I was going to the airport and to the flight, but the moment, like Glenn moment, and my friends, they were always saying, "There's a world also out of the country, and you would go there, and maybe you would be working at somewhere as a Muslim guy." Maybe that was maybe my motivation to work out of Turkey, because otherwise, like, why would you be away from your parents? Like right now, we have nobody, my wife and me, we have no one except the four of us. Like all of our parents are in Turkey, and they cannot even come to here visit because visa process most of the time issue, and like we cannot see your old friends, old places. But like I said, with that mentality, I spent 3 years after finishing college. I spent 2 years in 2010. I decided to learn English. Yeah, before 2010, I didn't have any English. That's why I still had some vocabulary issues to remember or learn. And after spending 2 years in the dormitory intense program, it was in the building for 6 days. Like everything in the building, upper stories, like floors are dormitory, lower classrooms. Like your whole life was English. I was amazed with that program. I wouldn't have that chance to learn English otherwise, because they were saying that learn English and with a very decent amount of prices. Then yeah, I don't know. I answered your question correctly. I was just yeah. Turkish. Yeah, native, like the official language is Turkish. But my parents at home, and they speak Kurdish, and I was I was always like they were talking to me in Kurdish, I would respond Turkish. That was weird, and I wish I would practice more Kurdish. Now I am more with that mentality to learn, practice more, so that my kids don't forget about Kurdish, because I want my kids to know and be part of Kurdish culture. Like too much different, I guess, because Turkish is different family language family, and Kurdish is different. Like Kurdish is in Farsi language family, like different rules, different sounds. Yes, you have a question? Oh, like even like maybe the picture I showed you earlier, like you would see, yeah, that's why I picked this picture. Yeah, you would see like people with maybe I can zoom in, like not scarf. You see, like you would like it's just normal. It's not like some countries you have to have hijab or you have to have like Turkish, like after Atatürk founded Turkey, he he founded the country with the mentality to be closer to Western countries. That's why Turkey is different from some other Muslim countries from the beginning, because Atatürk changed some settings, and that's why a Turkish state is secular, supposed to be secular, but right now practically it's not. And that's why, uh, except you go into the mosque, like in the mosque, they put some scarves, some like hijabs at the door so you can cover. It just shows respect, I guess. Like you don't even have to do that, but yeah. Okay, that's a good point. She knows Turkish in It's not mandatory. Like some people would think like it's a mandatory thing for women to put hijab on. Like it's a feeling. It's like not number one rule in Islam, but it's something recommended. And like most of the, I think our community, like the people in the Raindrop you see, mostly uh, inspired by Gulen movement. They have some motivation. They have some deep now maybe belief in different perspectives. But it's not mandatory. Like some people would think her husband makes it like that, like that. No, like my like my sister. I hope I had my sister picture here. Like she was with hijab for a few years during the high school, and she decided not to have it, and she took it off during the college. Right now, she's no hijab, and like my parents didn't make her to put hijab. Maybe she had some peer pressure, and then she took it off. Like it's not like that, and but peer pressure is real. Like in yes, colleges do that too. Correct, correct. Like in correct. And but motivation here in like really like having hijab on, like it's a really big responsibility because you're telling everywhere you're Muslim. And like if I walk in the street, in the downtown or everywhere, they would know that this weird guy is from Middle East because I'm Middle Eastern looking, but they wouldn't say at the first place he's Muslim. Like at some point you might have some people not liking Muslim people, and like that's why I tell my wife sometimes like, like during the night don't go to shopping because you would hear sometimes some like because I also had some Christian friends, very close Christian friends. We would have close conversations. Like I was surprised one day, like maybe you remember that Paris attack. Like he came to me and talked to me like some different manners, like different attitudes, and he was saying like that, this wouldn't happen. Like I didn't tell him anything, but I realized that people were getting affected with the news, and that's why even I tell my wife like when you go to shopping, like don't go during nighttime, like parking like some safe place because like I said, he got just a flag, you're walking around, you're Muslim. Yeah. I don't know if I answered that question. Yes, sir. Uh, quite a contrast, just symbol, where I was stationed first. This was 50 years ago, and things have changed because of the ubiquitous iPhone. And so there's been changes. But in terms of quality, right.
all the women were in work. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, they were all free. The guys went in, smoke shop, whatever. And I'm sure that that has changed, a lot. But there's also movement among the Islamic countries to get back some of that, to get away from secularization that they see in this country. You have to be a little careful in this country. As Gary states, I've heard, there are 100,000 people that felt safe in this time.
Correct.
Great wine, great food, and it was a grand experience. One other thing about the language, the Turk came from Mongolia,
Correct.
and where the Uyghurs are today, you hear a lot about the Chinese oppressing them and converting them to Chinese mind thought. But they came from that area, and their language was Turkish, not Arabic. And I happened to be there during the 7-day war in which the Israelis wiped out the Arabic country. Turks cheered the Israelis. They did not identify with the Arabic British. And Avatar insisted on a secular government. Actually, almost copies of U.S. Constitution. The military was in charge of keeping the government, the administration, secular. And there's always been movement to get around that, and the people going on today with very maybe I don't know. So much, or whatever that's for. It was one of the greatest years of my life. But I couldn't have myself. As the military.
Yeah. Well, thank you for explaining to us. Yeah, you were correct. Yeah, like Erzurum is a place where some famous scholars born and raised. That's why Erzurum has some I can say environment that has close to religion and also like I can say safe. Like for the safety part, like I don't think it would be an issue for most of the part of the Turkey. But if you don't speak Turkish, but you would have problem with communicating with people, that would be a problem. Other than Istanbul, because Istanbul most probably would have some people around knows English, but if you go to a small town, you would have to use your phone to convert, like translate, and that would be one option. Yeah, sorry, there are too many things to talk about, but because of my unorganized slide and like the time frame, and this is the best we can go. Thank you for listening, and thank you for timing. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I will say, Raindrop Turkish House Tulsa has a Facebook page. You can look there. And there are ladies' coffee nights. The next one is on February 3rd. So sorry, guys, but the ladies are invited. But cooking classes are open to men and women. If you just check on those, and you get to spend time cooking together and then have a meal together. So look into those things. And the festivals are always wonderful because of the variety of food that you have an opportunity. So thank you, Yusuf.